For the longest time, I thought my ex had anger issues. One minute, everything would be fine, but then he would get triggered, lose control of his emotions, and explode. And I thought, if I could just get him to take some anger management classes, everything would be fine if he could just learn how to control his anger. Like, that's logical, right? But when you read this book, you learn that people are not abusive because they're angry. They're angry because they're abusive. When people conclude that anger causes abuse, they're confusing cause and effect. Think about it. When an abusive person explodes in anger, what usually just happened? For me, it was either questioning him or not submitting, questioning his thinking or his behavior, trying to hold him accountable for his hurtful behavior, asking questions to gain understanding when the things he was telling me made no sense, not submitting. It was when I didn't do the things that he wanted me to do because it violated my autonomy or my values. Sometimes it was a perceived rejection where I didn't anticipate his wants or his needs fast enough, causing him to explode, not submitting. So in other words, the anger came from me not meeting an expectation of meeting all of his needs, an expectation of never questioning his behavior, and an expectation of simply submitting to every whim. But what's also interesting is that he had control over his explosions. Like if my mom said or did something that triggered him, there were a handful of occasions where he would jump in his car and go for a drive so that he didn't explode on her. So that tells me he knows the explosions are wrong. He would just save it for me when we got home and I would get punished because she triggered him. So then abuse isn't emotion-driven, it's thought-driven, it's belief-driven. They don't get abusive because they're angry. They get angry because they're abusive, because they feel entitled to zero accountability. And if you attempt to hold them accountable at all, they will punish you with anger as an intimidation tactic. It only strips you of your right to be angry when they harm you. So you don't question them, so you meet their needs, so that you submit. Your partner doesn't have an anger problem. They have an abuse problem.